bookworms. So today I'm going to do a review of Catching the Sun by Tony Parsons, and this is actually a book that I picked up from a charity shop when I was on my lunch from work one day. I didn't really hold very high expectations for it, but it actually proved all my doubts super wrong, and without a doubt I'm going to give this book 5 out of 5 stars. So it's basically about a family who originates from England, and they're having some sort of financial problems along with some other stuff going on in their life, which means they don't really want to stay in England anymore. And Tom, who's the father of the family, kind of meets a guy called Ferren, I think his name is, and he basically gives him an opportunity to move to Thailand and work in Thailand. So the entire family kind of packs up and moves to Thailand and starts living there. Now, I'm not actually entirely sure how to explain this book without giving too much away, because most of the stuff that happens in the storyline is kind of a surprise as you go along, so I don't want to give too much away, but I will say one thing. The company that Tom is working for, that Ferren sets up, is actually an illegal company, and Tom goes out there on a holiday visa, so he's not actually allowed to work legally in the country, and this company that he works for as a driver basically sells land and property and businesses to really rich foreigners, which is also illegal because foreigners aren't allowed to own land in Thailand. So it's just a way for Ferren to sort of trick rich people out of their money, and then sort of the police come along and shut everything down and everyone gets arrested, but then Tom gets let out because he was only a driver and he wasn't actually involved in the selling of the companies. He wasn't actually involved in that side of the business, so they basically said to him that they don't want him in Thailand anymore, they want him to go back home, and he was like, no, well, this is my home. And so they didn't really blacklist him, they didn't say he needs to leave Thailand, it was kind of more of a very strong suggestion, but he doesn't leave Thailand, he stays there. And the rest of the story, like I said, I can't really tell you what happens because it will give it away, because as I was reading it, it was a surprise to me, and it was a nice surprise, and I don't want to be the one who ruins that for you. But if you're going to read this book, there's so much happening in it, so much, and I can't express my love for it. Now, I will just take a second to talk about the characters in this book, and every single one of these characters I was in love with, and I don't know how Tony Parsons did it, but his writing skills are impeccable. So, as well as Tom, he has a wife called Tess and 2 children who are twins called Kiva and Rory. Now, Rory is very kind of into nature and animals and all that jazz, so of course living in Thailand is amazing for him because he's going to see all this wildlife that you won't really get in England. Well, I say you won't get in England, and he is in his element. And usually when you have a character who knows that much about a subject, especially when they're very young, because he can't be more than about 11, they tend to seem very obnoxious and annoying every time they say anything about it, and you're just there like, please shut up. But Rory wasn't like that. I loved Rory, and every time he came out with anything to do with his little fun facts or about anything, it was very interesting, and he was a very lovable character. And the other child, Kiva, she was very lovable too. She was so naive, so young, and the interaction between Kiva and Rory was amazing. Like, you could tell just from reading their interactions, they had a very close twin bond, and the way that Kiva would kind of mention something, like she would call a gibbon a monkey or call something by the wrong name, and then it would always be like, oh, Rory's side, and then corrected her, but it was never in like a, oh, my life, stop being wrong way. It was kind of more in the, I know about this subject and I want to sort of inform you of how to correctly name animals and all that jazz. And another thing that was done very well in this book was the fact that it slowly incorporated sort of the Thai language into this book. So it'd always be like, oh, the natives would call it this, which means this. So as you go along, you sort of pick up a couple words, and they kind of then, from then on, use that word in the book. And that was kind of annoying, because if you don't remember what the word meant the first time round, you either have to go back and find it or translate it on the internet. But once you get it in your head, it seems almost second nature that they're using another language in the middle of an English sentence, and you just kind of read it and you just go with it. And I know this review is very vague, and I'm sorry, but honestly, read the book. Just go and read this book. So even though I could probably say 1,000,001 more things of why this book is amazing, I'm not going to, because then I'll just be rambling on and on about nothing. But yeah, I honestly enjoyed this book so much, and it was very realistic. Well, I say realistic, but obviously it was a bit exaggerated because of this, like the story. But it was set in a real place, the people seemed really genuine, the place was described with such detail. But like I said, I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 stars, and that's pretty much it for this review. So I will see you guys soon, hopefully. Bye.